Get ready for f*** you in the ass federal prison. If that happens, it's because you want it to happen, unless you're in an apartment and you got a fucking cat. And I know I shouldn't be doing that. Sam Bankman-Fried wouldn't have shit on me. I am going to get some flack from this show. We do not support this. I had no idea how long that conversation was going to go. I didn't either. Anyway, that doesn't matter. What does matter? I'm talking to AK Debris.
We're against an empire of evil.
This is an episode of hope.
I think most Israelis want to be friends.
I think so, yeah.
I was in mentally my lowest I've ever been in years. They get you in a position where you either abide by what they want or you don't get in at all. This conversation we having is illegal to have, and I grew up in dictatorships. I know what that's like. I know the banking system and the evils of the banking system. And Bitcoin came to end this madness. It came to end it with knowledge, with science. I've seen a great awakening all over the world. People are looking at their government sideways.
People should not fear their government, that the government should fear their people. I'm Brett Johnson, former United States most wanted cyber criminal. You know, in today's world, criminals come in all shapes and sizes, but they all have one thing in common. They all have criminal thoughts. On today's episode, I am beyond ecstatic to be talking to AK Debris. Now, why am I talking to AK Debris? Well, I'll tell you. Last night, it turns out that Israel launched an attack against Iran, Syria, Iraq. I guess they're just trying to start some sort of regional conflict over there. Let's not even call it a conflict. They're trying to start some sort of regional war over there. So we're going to talk about that to a degree because AK was born in that part of the world. So we're going to get his insight on that. We're also going to talk about cryptocurrency because he absolutely has some insights, some knowledge into that we've not discussed before. So before we bring on AK, as we know, we talk about some news headlines. I give some criminal insight of the day. Let's shoot over to Brian and see what kind of news he's got for us.
A women's prison in California is so plagued by sexual abuse that it was known among inmates and workers as the Rape Club is now set to be closed. The Bureau of Prisons is closing the prison in Dublin, California, where more than a half dozen correctional officers and the former warden have either been charged or convicted of sexually abusing the female inmates.
California doing the stuff that California always does. So, federal prison. Here's the thing, and I don't know how else to say it other than saying it. When I went to prison, the head Secret Service guy, he looks at me before I'm in the county jail, and he looks at me, he's like, get ready for fuck you in the ass federal prison. Turns out that federal prison is not really like that. Now, some state prisons may be like that. Federal prison is not really like that. If that happens, it's because you want it to happen, unless it turns out that you're a female inmate and the guards are males. At that point, yeah, you might have some trouble. I was reading this story, and Brian just did a recap of it, but it went from the warden all the way down to the guards that were abusing these women. There's something wrong when the people that are in power you can't trust, and they victimize the people that they are supposed to be overseeing. How do we handle that? Well, it looks like that the way they're handling it is they're shutting down the prison. Now, that does not get rid of the problem whatsoever. They have fired some guards. Some guards have been indicted as well. They fired the warden. The FBI raided the compound. But again, that does not fix the problem. The BOP, the Bureau of Prisons, that's what they call the federal oversight of that. The BOP is very good about doing dog and pony shows. So every time they do they come through and do a review of a particular prison. They inform the compound, hey, we're coming in 3 months, so you need to make sure you get everything ready. I am positive that this rape club that was being ran in Dublin is no different than that. What will probably happen are the workers, the guards that were working there that were abusing women, they will be transferred to other prisons where, if there aren't any women there, there will be men there. And I promise you, they will find some way to victimize those men, because that's what happens when you put idiots and predators in positions of authority. We got to change that. You want to know what I think should happen? What I think should happen is they should load the warden up, the guards up, put them in the octagon with some really angry 800-pound gorillas. That's what I think. And let's see how they would fare trying to victimize those apes.
Sam Bankman-Fried's lawyers have made a truly bizarre request after his sentencing to 25 years in federal prison. Rather than being transferred to a medium security, also known as Club Fed, where he would likely be able to get a half-decent vegan menu, he is requesting to remain at the very rough Metropolitan Detention Center in Manhattan, where he has been reportedly subsisting on peanut butter sandwiches. According to the filing, he wants to stay close to the court during his appeal. If he's asking to stay at MDC to help with his appeal, he appears to yet again think that his own contributions could swing things in his favor.
I don't really agree with the article where it says he thinks that things will be swung in his behavior, in his favor, if he stays at MDCC. Here's what's actually happening. What's actually happening is Sam Bankman-Fried, the guy who stole all those billions of dollars from crypto investors / gamblers, he is scared the fuck to death. That's what's actually happened. He's actually thinking that he's going to be sent to a prison someplace, and they are going to diddle him or bugger him or whatever you want to call it. That's actually what's going on. So he's sitting there saying, at least here I know the environment. I want to stay here. That way I'll be safe. He doesn't understand that where he is very hard time. It is. I've been in those detention facilities. I've not spent any time at MDCC, but I was in Tallahassee's detention, Atlanta's, Oklahoma City. You don't get outside. You're locked down most of the day, at least when you go to a prison. And I know the article says that he's going to go to a minimum security. He will not. He's got a 25-year prison sentence. He's going to at least a medium to begin with, maybe a maximum to begin with, until they have a chance to view him, make sure he's going to be all right, and then they'll transition him down to a lower security prison at that point in time. That's going to take several months to do that. Bottom line, they're not going to let him stay at MDCC. That's not going to happen. They're going to transfer his ass somewhere. My thing, Sam, buddy, there used to be a show called Beretta. And there was a line at the opening of that show.
Don't do the crime if you can't do the time.
And it seems to me, son, you can't stand the time. But guess what? Doesn't matter where you can stand it or not, you're going to do it.
Sarah Harris, an Indiana woman, is facing a narcotics charge after she called 911 to report purchasing an inferior batch of methamphetamine and say that she wanted to file charges against her drug dealer. Ms. Harris twice made several calls to the police, which prompted an officer to visit her residence, quote, to ensure that everyone was okay, end quote. During a conversation with police, Harris declared that her meth was not what it was supposed to be.
Not what it was supposed to be, AKA she bought meth, which was laced with a lot of baby laxative, meaning that when she snorted it, shot it, swallowed it, or boofed it, for those who don't know, boof is when you take that illegal substance and you stuff it up your butt. Because here's how let's not go into how no, I've not done that. No, I've not. But what happens is so, you can take a drug intravenously and you get the most return on investment or whatever the hell you want to call it. You can take it orally, not as much at that point. You can snort it. It's pretty, the return on that is the bioavailability. That's what they call that. The bioavailability is very high. However, if you boof it, suitcase it, whatever you want to call it, if you will be to put something up your buttocks, The bioavailability is extremely high. It bypasses the liver and it hits pretty hard. So I'm assuming that what happens is this lady, this idiot, buys methamphetamine. First of all, boys and girls, don't do drugs, especially don't do methamphetamine. I mean, my God, will you be to do that? Have you not seen some pictures of these meth heads with the skin sores, the teeth falling out? Don't do it. Don't do it. If you will be to do it, and you get a lot of baby laxative that's mixed in with your meth, and you find yourself on the toilet because of all that baby laxative, chalk it up to the game. Do not be like this idiot and call 911 and say, yeah, guess what? Yes, I have an emergency. You see, I'm trying to tell you what I did. I bought some meth, except it ain't meth. I mean, there might be some meth in it. Well, yeah, no, I don't have all my teeth still. I've lost some of them. Yes, because of the meth, it dries your mouth out. Well, yeah, I've tried to stuff it. Well, yeah, but I ain't gay. Just send the cops down here. I want to file a complaint against the person who sold me this fake meth. Don't do that. Whatever you do, don't do that, because law enforcement, they're probably going to throw you in jail, if nothing else, for being an idiot. All right? If you're lucky, they're going to ignore you. Then they're going to go back to their buddies and they're going to make fun of you. Because guess what? When you break the law, you don't have any legal recourse. You can't call the cops. And I'm going to end that there, because that leads directly into today's Criminal Insight. All right, on today's Criminal Insight, as I mentioned just a second ago with that idiot meth head that had that long conversation with law enforcement, that my editor Brian had no idea how long that conversation was going to go. He actually mentioned it to me just a second ago as the header was loading up for Criminal Insight. He was like, I had no idea how long that conversation was going to go. And I responded to him, I didn't either. I was just winging it as we went along. Anyway, that doesn't matter. What does matter, here's the Criminal Insight of the day. Turns out when you're breaking the law and you get scammed, you get ripped off, something gets stolen from you, you don't get the proper drugs delivered to you, whatever, turns out that you have no legal recourse. And that means what? In a group of criminals, if you're trying to keep everyone straight, at the end of the day, you have to have the very legitimate threat of violence. When law enforcement cannot help you, cannot do anything, then that means that the people in these criminal communities must police themselves. So if you're on Telegram, if you're on the dark web, what have you, and you're trying to keep your group together, how do you do that? Or if you're in the mafia and you're trying to keep your people together to make sure that they behave properly, how do you do that? Well, the way you do that is, at the end of the day, it means violence. That's what it means. And that is one of the main problems with criminal activity, because everything is backed up with the very real threat of harm. And that is today's Criminal Insight. I'm talking to AK Debris. And AK, we were initially going to come in and we're going to talk about cryptocurrency. I invited him on the show, and I didn't know that AK was from the Middle East. So I was like, hey, would you like to talk about some of that? And he said, yes. Now, I say it's very fortuitous, but unfortunately, last night, before I turned in, Israel decided to launch attacks against Syria, against Iraq, and against Iran. And fortunately, we've got AK coming in today. I'd like to ask him for his insight, his view of what's happening over there. A lot of the time, we live in a world where we don't really get a lot of different opinions or different insights. And that's unfortunate, because we live in a world populated by different people, unique people. And if we're only searching out the views that we believe in or that we want to hear, that means that we've secluded ourselves and we're in our own little echo chamber. It's very good to get different insights and opinions. So without further ado, let's talk to AK Debris. AK, how are you, my
What's
friend?
up, Pat?
Dude, you got the garb on. You got it going on today.
Prince.
How you doing, man?
Yeah, man, I'm happy to be here, man. Thank you for having me.
Dude, I'm pleased to have you here, man. And right out of the gate, what do you think about what happened last night?
They hit the embassy. Who hits embassies?
Right. Right.
That's diplomatic area. You don't even hit that in times of war.
Right. And that's one of the things that I've got a lot of problems with that. I do. It seems to me that every single action that's going on is almost dictated to happen. Israel had no business, absolutely no business, hitting the Iranian consulate. That is sovereign soil of Iran. What do you think is going to happen when you bomb that? Of course, Iran has to respond. They have to respond. So I don't get it, man. I really don't.
I'll tell you why, though. I'll tell you why they keep poking at Iran. I'll tell you why they keep trying to start here and there and here and there. You really want to know why?
You know I do.
They say from a river to the sea, you hear that term, they say that's a genocidal statement. If you look at the Israeli flag, it's the Star of David in blue. Then you got two blue lines. Those blue lines mean river to sea.
Right.
They want to build the greater Israel at some point. They want Saudi Arabia, parts of that. They want the Sinai Desert, the one they try to kick the Gazans out to. They want that too eventually.
Right.
They want to make this Israel so big that it extends to Iran. And what better way to do that than a poke, U.S. help me, bruh.
I don't condone what happened on October 7th. I don't.
I mean,
but, the thing is, AK, at the same time, I'm well aware of what the Palestinian people have been through. Absolutely. You've got 2 million people in Gaza. And, the tunnels they talked about, I was actually telling my wife last night that, hey, a lot of those tunnels, they're not there for military purposes. Those tunnels are there so that the people in the Gaza Strip can bring in refrigerators, can bring in building supplies, because guess what? To build a building right now legally in Gaza, you have to use existing materials from the other buildings that are there. So you had this system of tunnels that was there to bring in goods, appliances, stuff like that, that was not allowed in Gaza to begin with. And when you've got a people like that, and I'm all for Israel protecting themselves. I'm all for the Palestinian people not being subjected to the things they've been subjected to. But it seems to me, and I know I'm going to catch some flack for this, but it seems to me that if you keep your thumb on a population for long enough, that population is going to explode at some point. And that goes into what I was saying about, it seems like everything is dictated and written in concrete that this is going to happen. Of course, you are going to have something like October 7th happen at some point.
We all heard the story, obviously, the October 7th, the baby, the 1500. I thought, first of all, innocent people, Israelis or not, that's wrong.
Right.
Islam never said that, but I'll tell you this. On the 7th, there was no babies hurt. All right? There was not 1,500. It was close to 600 or less confirmed.
Okay. Now, how do we know that, AK?
Israeli sources.
Okay.
They came out and confirmed it. And you know who killed the innocents that did die on the 7th? Israel did. Because they don't know how to fight one-on-one. They don't know how to do. They just hop on a plane and shoot whatever that moves. They came out with their own proof themselves. Israeli media sources putting this out.
Right.
And it's not in the benefit of Hamas to kill innocent. They need them alive so they can have negotiating cards.
Now, where were you born?
Okay, so I'm born in Sudan.
You were born in Sudan?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I don't know anything about the Sudan. So, and I'm sure that most of my listeners don't either. So why don't you break it down and tell me about the Sudan?
Sudan is in Africa.
Okay.
It's black people, but they speak Arabic and Muslims. It's right next to I didn't grow up there. I grew up in most of my life. I spent in Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
Here and there, here and there.
Where in Saudi?
Riyadh.
You know, I was very fortunate to be able to go to Riyadh November. Yeah, man, I was there November of 22. Yeah, November of 22. I was there. They flew me in for a banking conference to speak. I was there for about 4 days, and I've got to tell you. Of course, they had a chaperone that took me any place that I wanted to go. All right? And I know why. I get it. I absolutely get it. But what struck me was how friendly everyone knew I was an American, and everyone was extremely friendly. That story that they tell about, wherever you are in Saudi Arabia, if you leave your cell phone, keys, laptop someplace, walk away, come back 6 hours later, your laptop, cell phone, and keys are still there. You know, you don't have the problems that you have in the United States. You know, you leave something like that at Starbucks, it ain't going to be there 30 minutes later. You know, and in the United States, it's like that. In Saudi, I mean, it's the people extremely friendly. Oh my God, the area itself. I mean, it was told to me that what's going on right now is, you know, you've got the banking that's in Dubai, but Saudi's trying to take that over, and they're doing a really good job of taking that over too. But I was extremely impressed, man, extremely impressed. I mean, they were just a great people. They truly were. I felt extremely safe. Didn't have any problems with anybody else. And everybody that found out that they would ask me, they were like, "Are you an American?" I was like, "Yes." And as soon as I told them that, it was all about telling me how safe the country was, how good the people were, and I had no doubt about that. I mean, it was outstanding. So you grew up in Riyadh.
Yeah, you came to my home city. Oh,
dude. Yeah, I love the area. I truly do. And I've got a friend. She grew up there too. And she was scared to death when she found out that I was going. She was scared to death that I was not going to like the area. She's like, "Are you sure you like it?" I was like, "It's great." You know, we drove past it. We saw the people camping out in the desert and all that. And I was like, "That's outstanding. So, you know, it's I think that's one of the things that a lot of Americans don't understand is, you know, a lot of Americans view, if it's not Israel, a lot of Americans view anyone else except Israelis as violent, you know, Allah Akbar, we're going to blow everything up. And it's not like that at all.
Man, you know, it's funny. When we speak about, you know, this whole era that came, Islamophobia, terror, whatever, you don't know how all that started. We went to help Americans in Afghanistan.
Right.
We went to stand with you and fight the Soviet Union.
Yep. And of course, we Americans, we are very good about screwing people over. Let's just put it like that. I mean, we really are. And
the government, at least, I'm not. The people are, you know, I love American people.
Dude, I'll be honest with you, the people here are okay. They are. Our problem as Americans is that we've been taught over years that it's every person for themselves, that, you know, look out for yourself, don't look out for your fellow man. That's what we've been taught. And I think because of that, we don't speak up, we don't speak out, we keep our mouths shut because somebody may take our little piece of the pie. Is I think a lot of the problem. Of course, you're Muslim. And
I wasn't forbid, but then I came back later.
Okay. So I've been to Juma a few times. I absolutely have. And I got to tell you, I'm not a Christian. I'm not Muslim. I tend to take parts of different religions and kind of add them together. And I know that's not the right thing to do. But what I really like.
That's okay. I do that too.
No, but I tell you what I really like about Islam is their view of God, you know, not personifying God. I really like that. I really do, because you know, as Christians, people are very good about saying, you know, God is angry, painting God as a specific gender, things like that. Trying to take the finite and force that on the infinite, and Islam is extremely good about not doing that, and that has always resonated with me, truly.
Yeah, you said it beautifully.
Thank you. So tell me, growing up in Saudi and seeing a lot of the Western world viewing your people, your country as the enemy, how does that make you feel? I mean, how does that change your worldview, your perception of people in the West, things like that?
Well, I'm a special case because I was more, you might say, westernized than others.
Okay.
I just learned to always, how do I say it? Like if I'm at an airport, I gotta be extra nice. I can't afford to be making angry faces, not even by accident.
Yeah, I can get loud at an airport. I guess you can't.
Oh, no. I'm on my tippy toes. Hey, how you doing? But, you love it. Like, it doesn't change. It doesn't make me hate the West, per se.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. I would definitely have my criticism of those responsible.
Sure.
Because I think Netanyahu did 9/11.
I don't know. I mean, it's,
he wrote a book, and you can look this up after on camera. He come out himself speaking. He wrote a book and came out and spoke about the book. He's like, I wrote a book in 1995. If the West don't wake up to the suicidal nature of militant Islam, we're gonna see the World Trade Center come. Bruh. Now you telling me all the Mossad agents running around planting them bombs? That's documented, all that.
Right.
And where would Osama bin Laden get a plane? He's a jihadi in Afghanistan, not even where he's based. He get a plane?
Right. Well, I'll be honest, I'm not a Netanyahu fan. I never have been. And I am well aware of the historical false flag operations of Israel, including bombing the American ship, everything else. I'm well aware of that.
You know about that?
I do.
Oh, and the fraud. Ooh, because this ties on the fraud too. Because I believe, I have very good reason to believe, logical reasoning, you can make your own mind up, that 9/11, big motivator for those involved behind that was insurance fraud.
Okay.
They put a big $1 trillion plan on that building. Coincidentally, one day before it happened. Coincidentally.
Right. I mean, there's an argument for it. There is. I don't know if I don't know if I'm going to co-sign off with you on that.
Yeah, you don't have to. Do your research.
No, but I'm not going to sit here and argue about it either. You know, because I am not a Netanyahu fan, because I am well aware of previous false flag operations of the U.S. and Israel. I'm absolutely aware of those things. You know, it's just sad to me that we live in this world where, you know, we've got these sides, and that when you're on a side, you don't want to, or you block out anything that's coming from who you're viewing as your enemy. That's what's truly sad. Instead of having that open mind and that objectiveness, we become subjective all of a sudden. And even when someone is telling you the truth and they have the evidence there and they're showing it to you, you refuse to accept that. And oftentimes it's like Plato with his allegory of the cave. You know, a lot of people think that they know what the truth is, and they grow up in that. And then when they're actually shown the truth, they not only deny it, but they oftentimes become violent in response to it, because it's destroyed their worldview. And unfortunately, in the United States, I know we have a government that's very good about that type of propaganda. And we get it from the media. You can't watch the news in the United States anymore and get any real truth from any side at all that's out there. And it's unfortunate, and I've been on Al Jazeera before. I've been on RT TV, and it's often unfortunate that is the only real source of truth that you often have, because in your own country you can't get it.
I went on the news yesterday, or not the day before. Seen the Israeli president. We're against an empire of evil. They hate our freedom. Bro, what are you talking about, bro?
Right. Yeah, I saw, I don't know if you saw the UN interviews that were going on over the past couple of days, but the UN, the majority of the UN Council, they want to declare a Palestinian state. And I'm good with that. I think, by God, I think it needs to happen. Of course, the American ambassador, he stands up. The Israeli one stands up too. The American one stands up. We do not support this. We mean it will not make any difference whatsoever. The Israeli one stands up. October 7th happens. 6 months later, we have a Palestinian state. We do not support this. It is an act of violence. And I'm sitting there going, dude, you're talking about the Gaza Strip. It's not that big. What's wrong with giving a people who have been around since the Bible, since before the Bible? What's wrong with giving those people that land? Because guess what? I seem to remember back in around 1949, 1950, someone gave you guys a lot of land. They took it because at that point in time, no one in the Middle East could really defend themselves. They took it and gave it to you. So, and now you're complaining because of a small strip of land, and you don't want a group of people to have their own place. It seems there's something wrong with that. And you're going to build a wall. You're going to subject them to this type of treatment. And there's something wrong with that, man.
The wall, I hate that wall.
Yeah. I had a friend that, his name's David Hupper. Served time with the man. He was an heir. So, the DeWalt tools they sell at Home Depot? His grandfather was DeWalt. So he had a ton of money. But he also liked methamphetamine. So he got his ass in trouble for methamphetamine. He also got in trouble because of passport fraud. He was flying to Israel and then going over to Palestine and, giving money to Hamas. And he had helped steal you know what a triggerfish is, or a stingray? So Hamas had heard that one was being sent into Israel, and they stole it from the FedEx guy. So he assisted with that. So Hamas got a stingray device and everything. But Dave was like a brother to me, and that's the reason I started going to Juma and stuff like that, because he was Islamic. Great guy. Of course, he gets out of prison, picks up the meth habit again. His new out date is 2043. So that's Dave. But he was telling me that what would happen is, and he knew one of the head Hamas guys, and the head Hamas guy told him, I forgot the guy's name, but told him, he's like, hey, Israelis, they pick you up and they start they get you and they start whipping your feet. The bottom of your feet is what they do. And he said, the truth of the matter is that everyone talks at the end of the day, because you can't take that for very long. And I remember they had arrested Dave over there, and I don't know what all Dave went through. But when you've got a government like Israel that treats not only the Palestinians the way that they treat the Palestinians, but people who are coming over trying to assist for, human aid or just protest, and they're picking you up off the street and they proceed to do something like that, there's something really wrong with that picture. And then you've got, and let's be honest, you alluded to that just a few minutes ago. You've got the backing of the most powerful government on the planet, the most powerful military on the planet. That's basically giving you the go-ahead. Yeah, go ahead and do that. Now we've got, Joe Biden evidently told Netanyahu that we will not back you if Israel attacked Iran. Well, Israel attacked Iran. And we know, I'm sure you know that too, that while Biden may say that, if everything comes to push and shove, U.S. is absolutely going to back Israel at the end of the day.
Did you know it was law in some states to, if you're going to be a politician, that you have to support Israel by law?
I did not know that.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck kind of law is this?
What the fuck kind of law is this? How do you think it ends, man? I mean, to me, it seems like at the very least, it's going to explode into a regional war.
I have a theory. This state of Israel, or what we know as the Israeli experiment, it has two options. It will either crumble and the experiment will fail, and that will be brought about, I'll tell you how in a second. Or, yeah, either it will crumble and fail, or they're going to wake up and humble themselves and be Middle Eastern. You want to be in the Middle East? Be Middle Eastern. What happened to friendliness or friendliness? You can't just be in the Middle East with your nose in the sky.
Right.
Come on, bro.
Most Americans don't know that at one point in time, Iran was extremely friendly with Israel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with America.
Yeah. Most of us don't know that. Most of us don't realize that at all. And there's something wrong with that. That history has been erased over time.
It's been erased because, and this is one of the reasons when I was telling you I need to vent. I was in mentally my lowest I've ever been in years, because Israel, and they've done the same thing with the U.S. Like we see this law that we got, right?
Right.
Can't gotta support Israel. They infiltrate all places of power. They get you in a position where you either abide by what they want or you don't get in at all. When it comes to the Middle East, same thing on a micro level, same thing on a macro level. We either plant a dictator that we like on top of you,
right,
or we genocide you. Or we vilify you and make you the bad guy and all that.
There's a lot of that. There's a lot of that. So
and when you hear about Hollywood, you might hear these conspiracy theories in Hollywood. You go to Illuminati to sell your soul, blood sacrifice. Bro, Illuminati don't sacrifice no blood. What are you talking about? That's a Kabbalistic Jewish. I'm not saying all Jews, but I'm saying that this is, one of the things they do. And sometimes it's a blackmail technique.
Right.
And Hollywood is Zionist control.
Yeah, I don't. I'd like to get your input on this too. I don't really believe that the majority of Israeli people are haters. I just say that because that's a belief of mine. I have no evidence of that whatsoever. My belief is it's the government that's sitting there that's forcing that.
Yep. They're victims.
Okay. Yeah.
They're unwilling participants. And I mean, willing or unwilling, but they are victims of this whole propaganda.
Right.
Muslim, Arab. They think Islam is the issue.
Right. And I've got nothing but I've been to Juma. I know many Muslims, and I've absolutely nothing but respect and love for that religion. I wish I've said this about Christianity. I wish that I could find the faith to adopt a religion, to have that belief system. I keep working on it. I'm hoping that I get there at some point. I truly do. I'm hoping that I get there, man.
Next time you go to Riyadh, I'll be there.
All right, that's a deal. That's a deal. I had an invite to go to Dubai, and they didn't want to pay me. They wanted to pay like half of my fee, and I was like, "Look, man," I said, "That's a long flight."
That's classic Dubai.
Exactly. So maybe sometime later this year I'll show up over there. Are you
Riyadh,
still
they treat you good, Riyadh, huh?
They did. They were outstanding. I was at where was I? I was at the Four Seasons there.
Oh, you remember the area name?
I don't. I can look it up. I've got it on an email someplace. But it was outstanding. It truly was. And then there was I knew some professors at the university there. They came and got me. They took me out to dinner, and he and his brothers took me out to dinner, and it was outstanding. He and his brothers and my chaperone. they took me out to dinner. It was great. So, are you still doing your show, man, or not?
I'll be honest. Right after the 7th, after October 7th, I lost my interest in music and YouTube.
Okay,
I haven't done anything.
I looked it up, and you hadn't had. It looked like you hadn't really put out anything in a minute, and I didn't know what was going on there.
You gotta blame Israel for that.
Are you going to start doing it again, man? I think you should.
Just being here with you kind of sparked the life again.
Okay.
Before that,
people need, I'm going to tell you something, man. People need that different viewpoint. They do. I'm going to tell you, without a doubt, I am going to get some flack from this show. There's not a doubt in my mind about that. And I don't really give a damn. I don't. Because if you're upset about what we're talking about, that tells me that you're not the least bit objective. You're not the least bit open-minded. You need to listen to people who have different viewpoints, because if you can't do that, what are you doing? It's part of being a human being. I truly believe that. I truly believe part of our human experience is being able to see different people's ideas, insights, opinions, incorporate those into our own worldviews, and continue to grow as human beings. And we've forgotten that somewhere along the way.
You are absolutely right. And, that's like you said earlier. I don't believe most Israelis. Bro, I think most Israelis want to be friends.
I think so. Yeah.
I think it's our natural human. Like, war is not natural.
Right.
We're not made to be shooting rockets at each other. What is this? We're supposed to get along, hear each other's differences, and enjoy that. That's if we was all the same, it wouldn't be fun.
Right. So get your show back up.
I needed that, Brett. Yeah, thank you, Brett.
Seriously, get your show back up. Now, I don't know if you paid attention. Yeah, you follow me on Twitter. So I had not been investing in crypto or dabbling in crypto until March 2nd of this year. Since that point in time, I've done pretty well. I've only been ripped off twice, but I've done pretty well. I did. I got ripped. And the thing that pisses me off the worst, so I'm doing the meme token stuff because, I don't have I didn't want to put a lot of money into invest. I didn't want to go into Bitcoin or Ethereum because you can't get the returns on that. So I'm doing the meme coin stuff, and I'm doing really well with that. I'm doing really well. One of the tokens that I invested in, one of the tokens that I gambled on, forgot the name of it, but I took money out of this thing called Andy on Ethereum, and I got in on Andy when that market cap was under $1 million. Today, I just checked it and I got really pissed off. As of today, that market cap is $112 million. That's the market cap. So if I would have stayed in Andy, I would be looking at a gain of, $60,000, $80,000. I've been really happy. However, Idiot Brett did not do that. Idiot Brett, because this new token was coming out, and I was like, I really want to be into that. I took my Andy stuff, and I was like, what I'll do is I'll transfer it from Andy over to this, let that pop up, and I'll go back into Andy. Well, it turns out that the token that I invested in was a rug pull. For those who don't know, rug pulls are when you don't make a damn thing. The dev and the team that's owning the token, they make everything, and you get ripped off. So I only lost, money that I put up. I think I lost like $2,700. But it's not that bad until you look at what Andy would have done if I'd stayed in Andy. And I look at it as I lost a potential, $80,000 on that. So I'm not happy about that, but I am happy about, my overall crypto experience right now. You have a lot more insight and understanding in crypto than I do. And I say that as I'm looking at that tattoo. Yeah. How long have you had that tattoo? That's the first question.
How long did I have that? 2 years.
Okay, 2 years.
2 years, not that long.
What? Because, and let's be fair now, when you get a tattoo on you, that is a statement of permanence. When you get a tattoo between your eyes, that's a real statement of permanence right there. So What prompted you to get that tattoo?
I'll be honest, it was two main motivators. The first one is the ideological one.
Okay.
Now, when it comes to crypto, and I think I try to tell you this, most people today, I don't fault them for it, but they're only, viewing crypto as an opportunity to make money and invest, which is good.
Right.
Of course, you gotta have that. For me, growing up over there, seeing all the things that we're all getting to see now after Israel, like maybe a lot of people just seeing it for the first time. You obviously have some background. I'm seeing all these injustices. I know the banking system and the evils of the banking system.
Sure.
You know, so for me, it was about ideology. It was about the power. Us having ability to control the money again.
Right.
Nowadays, you can have a crazy opinion, and who's to say what's a good opinion, bad opinion? But you can have an opinion, and next thing you know, we're seizing your fund, bro.
I mean, we saw that happen this week. It was on Drudge Report. A guy who some Trump supporter, USAA shut his bank accounts down. Chase shut his bank accounts down. We've got you're right. We've got a history of that dating back to way before Julian Assange with WikiLeaks. Where they shut his down, and he was forced to at that point take donations of Bitcoin.
Yep. That was the era where I loved it. But I seen like exactly Julian example, and you know Julian, like let's just speak on right or wrong.
Sure.
Julian did not put a gun to nobody, or he didn't kill a single soul.
Right.
But he's been in jail for 9 years. All he did was tell you what Bush did. Bush killed 1 million plus. And he's free as a bird, making jokes about it.
Right.
So, yeah, like Bitcoin came to end this madness. It came to end it with knowledge, with science. You know, with the, you know what I mean?
I do, and you know, with Assange, I had a chance. I met him virtually. Oh. And I did. I met him the first year I started speaking. That was 2017, and he was at the consulate, the Ecuador embassy was where he was, and he was streaming out of there for a conference. I got to meet him, talk to him. The presentation that he started talking about was he likened the internet. He was comparing the internet to countries and the physical borders of those countries, and comparing the two. And it was an extremely informative, eye-opening presentation. And what I came away with more than anything of that was just how brilliant that man is. And he truly is. He then went on, he talked about being locked up for all those years. And of course, me being in prison, I was sitting there going, dude, you're in an apartment and you got a fucking cat. I wish I was in an apartment for those many years and had a fucking cat. So I did not... That part of the presentation did not resonate with me. I'll be honest with you on that. But an absolutely brilliant guy. And, you know, looking back at what's going on, you know, so the reason that Assange is in all the trouble is because of those documents that Bradley Manning stole and gave to WikiLeaks. All right. And then Bradley. Okay. And then Bradley decides to change his name to Chelsea and becomes a woman. And I don't have a problem with that. I don't believe that Chelsea is a real woman because I think Chelsea still has a something dangling there. All right. But
hey, but Chelsea got more than a lot of people out here today.
That's true. And I've got to tell you, I've got a lot more respect for Bradley / Chelsea Manning than I do for Ed Snowden. Chelsea Manning stayed in the United States to face the charges. Snowden ran his ass to Russia. So I've got a lot more respect for that. And what you just alluded to about the documents that Manning stole about how we were doing things in Iraq, you know, torturing people, everything else. We didn't know anything about, the American people didn't know anything about that until Manning gave those documents to Assange and they got released. And then what happens? Well, then what happens? The United States decides they're going to, you know, make sure that Julian Assange goes through hell for the rest of his life. And he's, you know, I fully believe he's going to die trying to fight this stuff. I really do. I don't like it.
That hurts me.
It does. I don't like that. I think that the power of government, when government screws up, and the United States government has been very good about screwing up, hiding it, and then punishing the people who get that information out. And I'm a big fan of the film. What's the film with Guy Fawkes?
V for Vendetta.
V for Vendetta. There's a line in V for Vendetta where he says that people should not fear their government, that the government should fear their people. And I don't think that's, to me, that is one of the most truthful moments in cinema right there. And for some reason, we have forgotten that. And we let the government instill fear in us. And there's something wrong with that.
Yep.
You know?
Something very wrong with that. And, you know, don't take it for granted, man. You guys are American. Don't take it for granted. You have freedom of speech. This conversation we having is illegal to have. And I grew up in dictatorships. I know what that's like.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, yeah, if we were having this conversation in some countries, yeah, we wouldn't be having this conversation for long.
Like, you know, Saudi Arabia is super safe and all, especially if you're American. Nothing's going to happen to you, even if we speak. But I'm pretty sure you know about the guy in the embassy.
Right. Right. Not only do I know about the guy in the embassy, but I was in Turkey a couple of months, in Istanbul, a couple of months after that happened. And dipshit Brett, it's fortunate that they did not let me do it, because what I was wanting to do was go down to the Saudi embassy, get a saw, and take a selfie of myself standing outside of the embassy with a saw. And that was frowned upon by my chaperones in Turkey. It turns out that most every foreign country that I go to, they give me a chaperone because they think I'm going to do some shit like that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would have disappeared like him.
Yes, I would have. So, okay, so let's try to get past, let's talk about crypto for a minute. And I agree with you. I look at it right now as a vehicle to make money. Yeah. That overall philosophy, though, of crypto, of being able to take the power of currency back and give it to the people instead of the government running things, that's a very powerful idea. Do you think it's possible it's going to happen? Because, you know, I see all these tokens come out, and I see the exchanges that are absolutely the centralized exchanges that are absolutely ran by traditional financial authorities, right? I see the SEC coming in and making sure that they're controlling a lot of the crypto trade in the United States. I see whales coming in with tokens instead of these tokens being, you know, fairly spread across a population. You have a very few amount of people that control the value of those tokens. And I'm wondering if you think that we ever get to the point where that founding philosophy of crypto, of being able to take control back from the governments, do you think we'll ever get to the point where that actually happens?
I have lost hope for a bit, but seeing after what Israel has been up to, I've seen a great awakening. Tell me if you agree. All over the world, people are looking at their government sideways. Like, you know, a lot of things that was done in the dark are coming to light now. So I'm having hope. I feel like people are now realizing the stuff I've been losing my mind over for years. You know,
to a degree, I see that. I do. In the United States, we've been, well, I say we. In the United States, the government, or those, I won't even say the government. In the United States, the people who are in power have been very good about dividing the population. They've been very good about saying, you know, either you're on the left wing or you're on the right wing. And they've not allowed the common person in the United States to understand that, hey, neither the left wing or the right wing is on your side. They're on their own side. And they're just simply, the people in power are simply using that as a distraction from the real problems that we've got. Meanwhile, I absolutely do see other countries that are looking, as you said, are looking at their government sideways, that are finally coming to that realization that, hey, the government's not for you. You know, and I'm hoping that we in the United States get to the point where the majority of the population starts to understand that it's not right wing, it's not left wing, it's not Democrat, Republican, Libertarian. It's the people And if we can actually get to that, I think that we can do some good finally.
It's happening. It's happening. Trust the process. I feel like God chose to bring the atrocities of Gaza just to wake everybody up.
Yeah. Well, you can't. The thing is, man, you if you're really paying attention to the news, if you really do give a damn, there's absolutely no way that you can sit there. Yeah, you may support Israel, but there's no way that you can continue to support Israel and understand that they've murdered 35,000 plus Palestinians in Gaza. Innocent Palestinians in Gaza in their thirst for revenge. There's no way no one in their right mind can support that. No one can.
I wouldn't have liked it if it happened to Israelis. And I hate the people, but if I seen an Israeli little girl, same thing being done to her, I'd speak up.
Yeah. I mean, no decent human being can support that. And I think you're right. I think that it's actions like that when you start to see that, if you're the least bit open-minded, that you start to understand that, hey, it's not, the governments who are doing this and supporting this, it's not about them helping people. It's not. It's about them maintaining power, maintaining control, keeping those people under your thumb. So maybe you're right about that, man. Maybe you are. I hope you are. I truly do.
Have hope. It's happening. And we're contributing. This video, this episode, we're contributing. It's all happening.
All right. You going to get your show back up, yeah?
For you, I will. Just
all
for
right
Brett.
Now.
Just because Brett told me.
I was shocked. Honestly, dude, I was shocked about that. I looked you up. I'd watched videos before. I hadn't watched any video in a while. And in prep for this show, I wanted to know what you were talking about. And I started looking. I was like, where the hell are his new videos? It's like, because I was really impressed. I was like, dude, this guy is rocking. And then I'm sitting there going, okay, where are you, dude? So get your show back up. All right.
I appreciate you, Brett, man. Just because Brett told me to. Just because I respect Brett.
All right. So crypto. What do we need to be looking out for in crypto? Because you the man.
I tell you what not to be looking for.
Okay.
Look, there's going to be these coins pop up day. This is not financial advice. But if
you got to say that. It looks like everybody says that. This is not financial advice.
I want to tell you, I have nothing to gain from what I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
I have nothing to gain at all. This is what I would do if I was you guys. I don't believe in this whole, like you know, if anybody knows, about get rich quick. Once you hear the words,
I do. And there's a reason. There's a reason that I understand this meme coin mentality. I understand completely. It's pump and dump. I absolutely get it.
Imagine if they had that when you was doing what you were doing back then. Dude. If they had that when I was doing what I was doing, I'd own a small island someplace. I would. You talk about somebody being ruthless. Sam Bankman-Fried wouldn't have shit on me. Just say it. And when I did get caught, I wouldn't be like Sam Bankman-Fried saying, leave me at the county jail. No, I know what I've done at that point. Yeah. What would you do?
Oh, man. I mean, it's so easy. I look at crypto right now, and I think one of the reasons that I'm successful in it is I do understand the scam mentality. I do understand that these meme coins that, almost 100% of them, not even 2 years from now, they're going to be dead. So what you do is you understand that hype, you buy into the hype very early, and then you cash out very early as well before, the main players. And I'm doing pretty good with that. What I would have done, I'd be doing rug pulls. I'd come up with the fake tokens. I'd probably do like that buddy of mine who opened up Quadriga. I'd probably start a cryptocurrency exchange and walk away with a few $100 million as well. The thing is, and as you know, I mean, crypto was unregulated for years. It still is largely. So that allows you to go into that environment, steal money, and not really have much fear of consequence at the same time. So, I mean, it's for scammers, even today for scammers, crypto is a haven for profit. And if you can understand that and know how to work around that, and fortunately, it seems like I do right now, even though I got ripped off twice. But, if you understand that, I think that you can still make a lot of money. My sincere hope, and I truly mean that, my sincere hope is that overall philosophy, that idea, that hope of crypto comes into play and becomes true. Right now, I don't see it happening. I think it could. I really do.
I'll tell you this for the investing though.
Yeah.
What I would do is I wouldn't chase this coin popped up, that coin popped up.
Right.
Sometimes you don't even know if these are real coins. It might just be someone telling you they. So look, what I would do is I say go for long term. Treat it as a savings account.
Sure.
And secure. Not on our exchanges, not on the. You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
I'll give you the story. Most people don't. You ever heard about the German hacker?
Which one?
There's only one with the coin. I'll
the
tell you a
world
story.
Coin, is that the one or not?
This story is hidden.
Tell us the
They
story.
never report. The media never reports stories where someone makes it happily ever after. They always are, criminal got arrested. But anyway, look.
Happily ever after doesn't drive views.
No, and it doesn't go along with their. But look, this is what happened. He was hacking. So people, download torrents, movies, whatever. He put a little silent miner in my Bitcoin. It's bad, but I don't see how that is criminal. That was years ago.
Sure.
The German version of the FBI came and got him, but he secured the coin the way Satoshi intended.
Okay.
Where it's like he got his 11 words, he had them memorized. He didn't keep it where someone can seize your assets. None of that.
Right.
The way Satoshi made it, he put it like that. They came and got him. He made about, at the time, $2 million USD.
Okay.
Give us your money. He said, I don't know my password. They kept pressuring. He's like, I forgot it. They gave him some years in jail. I think it was 2 or 5 years. I don't remember. He served his time. He comes out of jail. Hops on a plane, goes to Russia. As soon as the plane lands, I remember my password. His 2 was 8.
Not
2
bad.
million became 8 million. Yeah. He's still living happily ever after.
Not bad.
I don't say this to promote crime.
No, you're right. I mean, if he had had it on Coinbase's wallet, it'd have been seized.
It would have been took without his permission.
Yeah, it would have. I can't support criminal activity, but that is a good story.
I don't support it either. But the idea of being the world's FBI, CIA, deep state, nobody could take it from him.
Right.
That's powerful.
It is because I mean, as you know, I went to prison, and they seized every single thing that I had stolen, and stuff that I hadn't stolen. They took it all. I deserve to have everything that I had taken away. I believe
I agree
that.
with you.
But
that was hard earned, man.
it was hard stolen. But there's so many people on this planet that they speak up, they speak out against the powers of authority, and because they do that, they're punished, and they have their livelihoods stripped away, they have their funds stripped away, and then they die in poverty if they're lucky at that point and not locked up. So that idea of crypto absolutely helps with that. So I do support that. And I really hope that we get to that point. I really do, man. And talking to you, you're giving me hope that we will.
You will, man. You gave me hope.
You give me. See, boys and girls, this is an episode of hope. That's what that is.
Seriously, because before, like, if all this never happened, me and you would have never sat down and addressed this crazy.
You're right.
Injustice machine that's going on.
You're right. Yeah, I had. You saw my post after October 7th.
Yeah.
I was by God, I'm pro-Israel. Get it. But I had people that would message me, and I don't even remember the lady's name now, but she had seen me on the podcast with Jordan Peterson, and she reached out to me on LinkedIn, psychologist out of California, and she was like, I just don't believe that you have a closed worldview like that. And I responded to her, and I was like, I really don't. I said, I really don't. I said, but at the same time, I can't condone that action. I said, I understand. And I told her, I said, I understand completely why that happened. I said, that was not just some, anomaly that pops up that was not, being birthed for years. You can't treat a people like that. I said, I understand that. But at the same time, I hadn't, until I talked to you today, I didn't really have an avenue to discuss that, I was kind of boxed in, and I'm very grateful that you came on and we were able to talk this thing out. I truly am. I mean, it's not as much about crypto as it is, the problems that we're going through right now today. And,
it's all connected, Brett.
You're right. It is.
What happened to Gaddafi?
You mentioned that, last night or the night before. So tell me about Gaddafi.
Do you know what happened to him?
I know that, by God, they dragged him out and killed his ass.
I do too, but I never understood why until I got older and came to Canada.
Okay.
Because, man, like Gaddafi, the reason that happened to dude is because he wanted to have this currency that's, for the Middle East and Africa.
Sure. And
back it by gold and be outside those powers. They said, no. We're not having that. And then you get Hillary. We came, what she say? We came, we saw, he died. Damn, bro.
Yeah.
And that was a lesson you see now, all the Arab leaders, they're standing with Israel or working under the table.
Right.
These things are lessons to these people. It's like, hey, you seen what happened to Gaddafi, huh? You know what we can do. You seen what happened to Saddam.
So you send a message like that.
Yeah.
I mean, so you send a message to the power players like that. You better stay in line. And at the same, I guess at the same time, I'm just kind of working through this as we're talking. So if you can't rely on the power players who are in disagreement with those who are in authority, then at that point you have to have this kind of grassroots movement where you've got a mass adoption of crypto, and then that crypto over time becomes mainstream and takes over.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Crypto is so beautiful. The reason I put it on my face, and this man Satoshi, shout out to the Christians, but, and I'm not saying Jesus don't exist. I believe in Jesus through Islam. He's there. Sure. But we don't got no proof that Jesus sacrificed himself. However, we got Satoshi sacrificed himself. We don't know who he is.
Right.
Before Satoshi, you heard of web money?
Web money, e-gold, Liberty Reserve.
Well,
oh yeah. Yeah.
You remember what happened
let's be honest. I was on the ground floor of e-gold, Liberty Reserve, web money, Cifro Cash. That was an old one too. Yeah, we used all that stuff.
Yeah, I knew it. You had to know that. But you know what happened? Like, they were not evil things. Right. In principle, they were not. They were just services.
Right.
They tried to do what Bitcoin did, except they were a company, people in an office, racketeering and conspiracy to commit money laundering. Wow.
Yeah. So let me pause here so that everyone knows what's going on. I've mentioned this in a couple of shows and alluded to it. What happens is you've got some precursors of today's crypto. All right. You've got eGold, you've got Liberty Reserve, AK just mentioned web money as well. You've got those precursors. All right. The problem is that the developers, the people who created those, we knew who they were. The governments knew who they were. So it was very easy to track those people down, indict them for varying degrees of money laundering, and shut those things down. Satoshi Nakamoto evidently learned that lesson. So there's a reason that no one knows who he is today. That's one of the primary ways that Bitcoin grew and exploded and then lended itself to the entire crypto vertical. That's what starts that. Without, if people knew who Satoshi Nakamoto was, I promise you that by 2012, that friggin' coin would have been shut down. There's not a doubt in my mind about that.
Satoshi would have committed suicide by stabbing himself in the back.
Or like that one reporter shooting himself twice in the head.
In the back.
You know, something would have happened.
And you know, like you said in the beginning, when you were talking about that topic, you're like, crime always comes down to being backed by violence. You tell me, is this, you look at the system, is this not criminal?
Sure it is. Sure it is. I mean, when you've got, so you think about it. If you are doing something, and we've seen the government do this. I mean, there's countless stories like that. I forgot the reporter's name. Jeremy Renner starred in the film about it. But guy had some CIA secrets. And the way his life ended, the way the film ended, is he commits suicide. How did he commit suicide? He shot himself not once, but twice in the head. Weirdest suicide that I've ever seen. There's a whole history of people. Yeah, but there's a whole history of people that either disappear, mysteriously die, commit suicide, any number of things like that. And you're right. I mean, it's not just traditional criminal gangs that have to, at the end of the day, resort to violence. If the government can't, by traditional means, throw someone in jail, and that same government is in a position where they may lose their power, it boils down to violence at the end of the day.
Kill the Messenger is the movie.
Kill the Messenger. That's it. For those who haven't seen it, watch it. Absolutely watch it. You'll get a fantastic idea of the things that AK and I are talking about. Look up, I forgot what the ship is that the false flag operation that Mossad ran where they bombed the American ship. But you can find that by a Google search. You can look up the
USS Liberty.
The Liberty. You can also look at the Gulf of Tonkin, because that was another false flag operation that got us into the Vietnam War. So there's a whole history of this stuff. We're not just pulling this stuff out of our ass. This stuff happens, all right? And if you're not aware of this, this is a very good educational opportunity to become aware of it.
Amen. Amen.
I don't know what else to say other than that.
You said everything there is to be said, and yeah, man. There's change. There's change coming.
I hope so, man. I do. We're gonna close this thing out. You're definitely going to get your show back up.
For Brett, I'd do it, man. Just
so people, I'm saying this. Where can people find your show?
YouTube.com/AK
there you go.
I'm on the gram. I'm on TikTok. I just got on TikTok nowadays. And
I like TikTok. I'm afraid they're going to ban it. And, you know, if you've watched my show, you know that the reason that I like TikTok is because things jiggle. Mm-hmm. I like that. I shouldn't. I'm not a lech, but, you know, the algorithm shows me stuff that jiggles, and I look at it, and it shows me more things that jiggle, and I'm like, yes,
jiggle.
Yes.
That's what she said.
Jiggle, yeah.
That's how I feel about Twitter. I avoid Twitter.
Oh, Twitter's terrible.
Oh,
Twitter
I mean, Elon continues to
sin.
kill Twitter. Let's be honest. It gets worse every single day. Every day. AK, thank you for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Brad.
All right, we're going to close this out. AK Debris, you are you're amazing, man. You are. And I truly appreciate you. I appreciate everything you're doing. And everyone, hey, tune into his show, truly. I mean, he's a good guy. I don't care whether you agree with him or not. You need to be listening to him because it gives you a different view. All right, so please tune into his show. My name is Brett Johnson. This is the Criminal Thoughts Podcast. We're going to close things out. How do we do that? We do it, believe it or not, we close it out the same way on the Brett Johnson Show that we do on the Criminal Thoughts Show. And I know I shouldn't be doing that. I'm going to figure out some way to close it out differently. I don't know how, but right now we're going to say stay safe, stay secure, stay vigilant. More importantly, at the end of the day, just do the right damn thing. My name is Brett Johnson. We have had AK Debris on. I want to thank everyone for taking the time to tune in, listen. Thank you so much. Until next time.